Today we'll be looking at Thank You for Being Late by Thomas L. Friedman. Thomas L. Friedman uncovered the developments that are reshaping the present reality and discloses how to capitalize on them, and pad their most exceedingly terrible effects. The writer endeavors to get the pursuer to take a gander at the world in an unexpected way. How you comprehend the news, the work you do, the instruction your children need, the speculations your manager needs to settle on, and the good and international decision our nation needs to explore, will all be refashioned by Friedman's unique examination. Why is change occurring? As Friedman shows, the exponential increment in registering power, characterized by Moore's law, has a great deal to do with it. The year 2007 was a significant expression point, the arrival of the iPhone along with propels and silicon chips, programming, stockpiling, sensors, and systems administration, made another innovation stage. Friedman calls this stage the supernova, for it is an unprecedented arrival for vitality that is reshaping everything from how we flag down a taxi to the destiny of our countries to our most close connections. It is creating tremendous new open doors for people and little gatherings to spare the world or to wreck it. In Chapter 1, Friedman reflects upon the speed of present-day life, in addition to the fact that it is quickening. Friedman started a more profound comprehension of this reality when he had to stop while hanging tight for a delayed breakfast visitor. At the point when future visitors were late, permitting him extra delays, he expressed gratitude toward them. Henceforth the title of the book. Friedman likewise relates how a delay prompted a profound and significant association with a parking garage specialist that further opened his comprehension of the quickening scene. In what zones does Friedman feature the effect of quickening change on the planet? What instances of quickening change are generally obvious in day-by-day life? In Chapter 2, Friedman reviews 2007 as a vintage year in innovation with a few significant innovation items. The stage is being discharged at the same time. Individuals today are confronted with exponential development of progress in figuring, globalization, and environmental change. How does that exponential trait of speeding up cause trouble in appreciating the effect of that change? Section 3. The creator subtleties quickening change in mechanical capacity with an assessment of Moore's law, happening in processor speed alongside comparable quickening change in corresponding figuring parts. Expanded preparing power has been joined by increments in sensor ability, PC memory, proficiency of programming, alongside the data transmission and versatility of systems administration. How is this computational development showed in the Air Force? Section 3. Friedman looked at this intensity of the cloud, which Friedman alludes to as a supernova. How is the cloud sway efficiency in the Air Force? Friedman proceeds with the part following the development of figuring from the arranging era to the programming era to the current psychological era. Friedman gives a few delineations of the effect of psychological registration and the cloud on human undertakings. How does psychological figuring sway Air Force tasks? In Section 5, Friedman examines an assortment of streams of data. How do the assortment of streams depicted by Friedman add to the interconnected globalized world? What will be the effect of stream between interconnected gadgets? He says the use of streams, experiencing an organization will be developing proportion of valuation. In what manner will the Air Force's usage of streams be estimated? Section 6. Friedman inspects environmental change. He gives numerous delineations to approve his postulation that environmental change is quickening. How does the downpour room portrayed by the character outline the effect of human action on the atmosphere? In Chapter 7, Friedman tends to two inquiries. Are things getting excessively quick, and how would we adjust? Friedman gives few instances of how the pace of mechanical change has influenced him. How have you encouraged these changes? The writer additionally expounds on strategies not staying aware of the progress. What Air Force arrangements are falling behind the pace of progress? Section 8. The writer analyzes the idea of work with regards to quickening change. Friedman composes that individuals should constantly adjust and change and adjust. A procedure he calls dynamic steadiness to keep an occupation. He likewise compasses that pioneering thinking will be will be required at all levels. Further, he depicts new stages of discovering that include shrewd partners and incorporate creative arrangements, for example, small-scale degrees. These permit more extensive access to specific training. By what means can the Air Force adjust from the model of airmen securing positions to permit airmen to concoct an occupation? How does dynamic solidness show in a fruitful Air Force profession? In what capacity will the Air Force best give space for pioneering thinking? How could these techniques be fused into professional military education? Part 9. Friedman characterizes the post-Cold War period of global relations. Universal relations and international solidness are profoundly affected by quickening change. Friedman brings up a few difficulties to beneficial global connections. While increasing speeds may profit countries, they likewise bring extra anxieties. How does the time of increasing speeds make it progressively hard to resuscitate a bombing state? What jobs do super-engaged people play in the period of increasing speeds? A global relations technique Friedman suggested intensify, dissuade, and corrupt, or add. What does the Air Force offer with an end goal on intensify as characterized by Friedman? Section 10. Friedman depicts characteristic frameworks as an all-inclusive analogy for how political and social frameworks could all the more likely adjust to quickening change. Friedman composed the most versatile frameworks will deliberately decide to copy the unstoppable force of life executioner. Applications for delivering flexibility and impetus. How do the 5 executioner applications he records apply to the Air Force? Chapter 11 examines moral parts of the expanded adaptability of individual conduct realized by quickening change. Innovation particularly has utilized the intensity of the person to be a lot more prominent than in the past. Chapter 12 was on finding and making an eye of quiet in the tempest of progress. Friedman outlined such quiet with a case of network in his old neighborhood. As quickening change takes steps to overpower capacity to stay aware of the present occasions, where is there space to gain from an earlier time? How might we best gain from the past, and how does the Air Force current feeling of network contrast and its feeling of network before? Part 13 looks at the effect of quickening change on the job of assorted variety in the public arena. Friedman composed that America is turning into a minority greater part nation. By what method will beliefs be supported amidst quickening changes? In the last chapter, Friedman composed that we need joint effort and trust to proceed with the pace of quickened development. Individual cooperation, despite everything, underlies all the advances made by mankind. How are there few different ways to beat in powers that force detachment and unite individuals for solid networks? Thank you.